Hello, comrades, and welcome back to Ushanka Show. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи. В эфире программа Ushanka Show. My name is Sergey, and I was born in the USSR. Today, I would like to share with you some of my personal experiences, some of my happiest moments in my Soviet childhood. So here we go. 10 happy moments of my Soviet childhood. 10 радостных моментов моей советской жизни. So during the winter months, ice hockey was very popular among kids. So you'll get enough kids to make two teams. You find a good spot to play and you just play hockey hour after hour. We didn't use skates, so usually they'll be part of the plowed road that just kind of has a packed snow, so it's slippery enough. It's almost ice, but it's not ice. So you have a snow banks on each side and you just run back and forth along that stretch and you play ice hockey with your friends. So of course every kid would bring his own hockey stick, and I was very cool because my father one time painted a bus of the local hockey team, Sokol Kiev, Hawk, the Hawks, I guess will be translation proper. And as the souvenir, they gave him a golly hockey stick, that big wide one. I was the only one in our building who had that one, so I was very, very cool. And of course, if you play hockey, besides hockey stick, you also need a hockey puck. And so every kid will bring his own or a couple, but in order not to mix it up or lose it, everyone will use tiny like shoe nails and will nail your name. So you have a letter, maybe A for Alex or S for Sergey. So every kid would have like a personalized hockey puck in case, if you lose it, then you can find it and say, hey, I found yours and let's find mine. And of course, as I said, you play along the snowbank, so quite often the hockey puck will go in the snow so deep that we won't be able to find it. And in the course of winter, we would lose quite a few hockey pucks. So one time, so that was during the spring, it was the very first of very warm day and snow was melting everywhere. And at that time, I was going to school on a second shift. So because they had too many kids for that specific school, they had half of the kids had to go to school at 2 p.m. and study till 6 p.m., which I hated, but at least you could sleep in the morning. So I went to play outside and I was by myself because everyone else was in school. And I went for a walk, and that area when we played hockey all winter long, all the snow melted, those big snowbanks disappeared, and guess what I saw? There were like a dozen or even more hockey pucks sticking out from the melting snow, like all over that area, and that was so cool. That was like this weird mushroom hunting in a spring, so I had to go and get a big bag and collected all the hockey pucks, and later, of course, I gave back to my friends the one I could identify, and the ones that had no markings, I kept them all. It was a happy, happy morning. And speaking of mushrooms, I would say грибы in Russian. My number 2 happy moment was related to the mushroom hunting or mushroom picking. I was very small, probably 6-year-old, maybe 7, and we were mushroom hunting with my mother and my dad. And usually, you don't walk together, you kind of spread a little bit so you can cover bigger area or larger area to find more mushrooms. And I walk up into this opening area and there was like a whole bunch of поддубники, this interesting kind of mushroom. And I got so happy, I got on my knees, got my little pocket knife, and I started just cutting them down, harvesting them. And then suddenly I realized I don't hear my parents. So one minute I was so happy, and next moment I was scared, and I actually started crying and yelling, "Au, au, papa, mama," because I realized they just were keep on walking and didn't pay attention that I stayed behind. And fortunately they found me, but I was sitting there with my bag full of mushrooms and my face was all covered with tears. But still, it was a happy moment. Number 3, my happy banana moment. Of course, for those who watch my videos for a while, or if they purchase my book American Diaries 1995, I shared that story already. It's about receiving a parcel with bananas from my parents. So that was another happy moment of my childhood. Bananas were available only for the short period of time in the summer, only in the big cities. And since my birthday was in July and every time in the summer I was in the village, that was kind of a little family tradition. My parents will get in line and purchase a couple of kilos of bananas. And they were pretty pricey, I believe like 6 rubles per kilogram. And then they shipped the parcel to village as the birthday present. So I still remember that one time that me and my friend went to receive the parcel at the post office, and it's like 2 kilometers walk. And I remember I was so happy carrying that box back home and putting my nose to the gap between the boards, and I could smell ripe bananas. And it was so much excitement about it. Of course, later we got caught by rain and everything else, but that moment of carrying this heavy parcel full of ripe bananas, it was awesome. Number 4, watching fallen stars and the satellites. Looking back, most of my happy childhood moments were related to the summertime. And of course, since I spent my summer break in the village, it's all together. So it's always village, it's always summer. That's when I was happy. Not many super happy moments back in Kiev. So this is probably was late August. So after wheat, pshenica was harvested by combines, they didn't roll the straw into these big giant rolls like they do it now, or they used to do forever in America, I guess. The combine will be just harvesting wheat and then just dumping these little piles of straw, and tractors will pick it up and they'll make this long, tall pile of straw that we call skirda. So what we did quite a few times is to go late evening when it's getting dark, because you probably could get in trouble if the collective farm workers will notice that you climb up that pile and you tumble straw down. Maybe they won't care, but we didn't take chances. So when it get dark, we'll gather together, me and my buddies, and we would climb on that pile, we'd bury ourselves in the straw, which is kind of pokey, and then we just listen to the little portable radio and watch the starry skies. And of course, it's August, so you have a lot of fallen stars. So you have competition, how many fallen stars you're gonna notice, and then of course you see satellites. I don't know if you guys ever watched the sky at night, but you could see satellites moving across the sky. It's like a bright star that's just moving steadily. So we'll have that good time together, chatting, listen to the radio, and then we just fall asleep. And I think once or twice we actually stayed there overnight and just slept all till 5 o'clock in the morning. When it got really chilly, then we went back. So I had a great time. That was just amazing. Just fresh air. It's summer. There's warmth of the straw, sky, stars. It was amazing. Number 5, nerds score. Hey, I was actually wrong. There is a one happy moment of my life. It actually happened during the school days. And I believe maybe that was the 7th or 8th grade. So we played basketball during our physical training, PT, or as we call it, Fizkultura. And so we had 2 teams, and of course, like it happened, it was like a nerds versus bad boys, almost like that. And of course, we're just playing, having fun, not really paying attention to rules. But it was a moment when someone really did a really bad fall against me. And I just like, okay, I need to do the free throws. And they all started laughing like, yeah, sure, like you ever gonna score. And I was so mad because first of all, the guy was so rude and he hurt me. And then they were making fun of me because they don't think I'm gonna score. And so I was very nervous, but I did 2 perfect, we call it, I think, swoosh, right? It just even didn't touch the ring. It just one after another, just blunk, and oh my goodness, that felt good. It was a very, very happy moment. Number 6. This one is, we're going back to the village again. But this one I think is one of my earliest memories that I still kind of remember. And I think I was very young, maybe 5. maybe 4, but probably 5. So I remember I was playing, and I was easy kid for my grandparents because I could keep busy. Like I could stay busy myself. I didn't need to be constantly entertained. So I had this old wooden crate that had a bunch of nails. I think Grandpa, he drove a bunch of little nails to it, and I played like I'm riding a motorcycle, and then I'm moving this bent nail like it's a different gears. So I switch gears and turn around and just playing. Chickens are around, pecking on grass and stuff. So just another day in the village. And the reason why I think I was so young, because when I was so little, of course, I missed my parents a lot. You go to the village for 3 months, and your parents will come for a month, but then you don't see your mom for so long that we had a picture of my parents, and I hated that photo because every time I look at it, it makes me cry, and I was very not happy about it. So I was playing that crate, and suddenly gates open, and my parents walked in. Somehow they came earlier or something, so we didn't know they're coming, and it was such a fantastic surprise. I was so thrilled to see my parents just showing up like that in the village. Like it was, I was just ecstatic with joy. And later, after they left, I started playing this silly game that when I feel that I miss my parents so much that I'm about to cry, I'll go to that crate, I sat on it and start playing the same game again, and started looking at the gate, hoping the gate will open and my parents will show up again, because that was like my good luck, good charm, right? Lucky charm, lucky crate, that if I play on it again, it will make my parents come back. So it was a very happy moment. And then, of course, my parents didn't return because I wasn't playing with that crate again, but still, that was a fun moment. Well, guess what? There's another happy moment from the school days. I have a long list, and I'm just picking the ones that kind of relates to my younger days, my innocent days, let's put it that way. And later, if you guys are interested, I can make another video about my more mature days when I started looking at the girls through a different kind of angle. This is still, I'm very young, very innocent. And anyway, so back to the moment number 7. So in the Soviet schools, life wasn't easy for pupils. We had to go to school 6 days a week, so we studied on Saturdays. And beginning from the 4th grade, we had finals. So in the 4th grade, we had finals in math. So just one test, but it was pretty intense, and I was very nervous. I studied a lot, but I was still freaking out because I never had the experience of doing this test. You pull the ticket, so-called, and it'll be like 3 questions, and you need to go to the blackboard and answer them by memory. And I got the ticket that I knew really well. I nailed it. I got 5, which is excellent, or A. And I remember marching home. I was so happy because I just got that A, and I just did so great, and I was so proud of myself. It was a very, very happy moment. And it was, of course, all that weight off my shoulders. Number 8, my successful Postcard Ponzi scheme. So we still lived in a one-room apartment. So we're talking about 1979, 1980, maybe 1978. So I was already a pupil. I was going to school, and we had this game going, and it's pretty much like a Ponzi scheme. So, and somebody will give you the letter, and it says like you need to find 5 people and write them the same letter, just copy it, and then you add addresses in the bottom. You remove the top address and you mail a postcard. You add your address to the bottom, so you bump everyone up. You send everyone a postcard. You bump the top person off, put yourself on the bottom, and I don't remember how long the list was. Maybe it was more than 5 addresses, and then you send to 5 people. So that's this pyramid, right? So you get a letter sent to 5 people, 5 those letters people send to each of 5 people, so you have 25, and on and on. And eventually your name will get bumped up to the first level, and you're going to get a bunch of postcards, and then you get removed. And guess what? A month or so later, I started having my mailbox was so packed full every single day. We had postcards coming and postcards coming. And usually people, they were practical in the Soviet Union. So they will mail you in a letter, like brand new postcard. So actually you can use this. It'll be different kinds. Some will be, from the different cities with the pictures for that city. Some there will be like New Year postcards. And most of them were never signed. It's just brand new postcard. It was kind of deal. So for many years later on, my family never had to buy any postcards because we had, I don't know, I think it was close to 400 we got those. So that was really cool. I was very happy because every day I just had this big haul of postcards coming out our mailbox. So that was really neat. Number 9, a package from Germany. So here we're probably talking about 86, 87. So we started having foreign magazines showing up in retail, and you could purchase them. They were very expensive. And one of those magazines was a German youth pop magazine called Bravo. And at that time, I was just so in love with Sandra. There was this pop singer from Germany, Sandra Lauer. And I had a pretty bad crush. I had posters. Well, later I had posters all over the wall, but I had some posters of hers. And I ended up writing a letter to that magazine, the Bravo. So I wrote the letter in English, and it was probably pretty bad English, but I wrote them how much I love the magazine and how much I'm in love with Sandra, and that I paid a lot of money to have this magazine where she was on the cover. And just asking them if they have any more posters available of Sandra for me. And then right by the New Year, like a day or so before the New Year, so the biggest holiday for the Soviet people, I found in the mailbox a thick envelope, like package from Bravo from Germany. And it was packed full with Sandra posters, bunch of stickers. And we're talking about times when the Backstreet Boys, I didn't care about those, but there's a tons of, they had a whole set of stickers, but I was care only about Sandra. So I got about 5 or 6 brand new Sandra posters and letter from the magazine that they appreciated. I'm such a huge fan. My goodness, that was happy times. That was a very, very happy New Year. Number 10, the very, very first letter from overseas. So once again, that's around 86, 87. I studied English, and I was desperate to find some pen friends, or pen pals, they call them, from other countries. And in one of our Soviet youth magazines, they started publishing like addresses of people from other countries to may look for pen pals. I think they were just borrowing them from other magazines, like from Germany or something, or maybe even, I'm trying to think. Anyway, so I received a letter from South Korea, and I was so happy. It's just the very first letter. It didn't last long corresponding. Of course, it takes forever for the letters, but we corresponded maybe for a year. It takes like almost 2 months after you send the letter to receive the answer. But I remember that fishing out that first envelope and see the really strange address from South Korea, and it's all typed on a typewriter. That was awesome. I was very, very happy camper. Okay, comrades, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you really liked it, I have another about 20 more happy moments, but a lot of them more like PG-13. So if you think you might want to listen to those stories, just let me know in the comments, and I will work on that other video. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye. Hey, by the way, cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.